Okay, for those of you who don't know, before I was a, is this on? Yeah, okay. Before I was a minister, I was in musical theater. And this is what I've created, what we've created at Unity San Francisco. And it has been my joy and my pleasure to find all the multiple ways that Spirit can express and to elevate them, celebrate them, and bring them to you all. But that's not how I started. That's not how I started on this journey. One day, as the sun came up at 5 in the morning, and the sweet sound of the birds singing scared me and frightened me so much because I had been up all night. I had been using drugs and drinking. And once again, the world had turned around and I was stuck. I was in this low, painful place that I had been all too many times before. Ashamed, dirty, disassembled. And in my glorious Manhattan apartment, I was stuck in the half bathroom with the door closed, terrified of the dawning day. So in that moment, I knew I needed help, and I asked for help, and I took the steps out of the room and went over to the phone and called my therapist and left a voice message at 5 a.m. saying, I'm in trouble and I need help. And I did that because I knew I had been there many times before, and if I didn't tell on myself in that moment, I would get a couple hours sleep, I would wake up in the middle of the afternoon, and I would start it all over again. But I surrendered. I surrendered my personal ego will to something higher and greater. And in a week, I was in treatment, and then I started to piece my life back together. Tomorrow, I will celebrate 20 years clean and sober. "20 years." And this quote from Marianne Williamson is indicative of that journey. When we meet limited circumstances with unlimited thinking, everything changes, right? It changes everything. So I was stuck in this limitation, literally a half bathroom. That's where my whole world had descended to. But people around me and people I began to learn to trust showed me a way that was something miraculous. And I've come to expect miracles every day now because one step at a time, I worked the steps of recovery. And I created a life that is beyond description now. And I couldn't even imagine at that moment. It wasn't possible. It wasn't possible to create an abundant life from that place of lack and limitation, and that place of ego dependence and chemical dependence. I thought I could do it all alone. I thought I knew better, and I was unwilling at the beginning to listen to other people, to take the wisdom of the ages, the wisdom of people who had traveled this road before, and take the journey into that uncharted territory that I couldn't quite see. I can't even begin to describe how different I am now. Practically no one from my life then, other than my family who stuck by me, is still in my life because I've changed everything. And that's the thing about 12-step recovery is they tell you to come in and they do it one day at a time. And what they don't tell you is you need to change everything in your life. And then I got out of recovery and went right back to Unity. So I had been attending Eric Butterworth's church in New York. My first Unity minister was Eric Butterworth, right? Right? But that didn't stop me from becoming an active addict, and didn't stop me from having a dark night of the soul, because positive thinking doesn't stop stuff from happening in the world, right? Positive thinking, I didn't know this then, positive thinking is for when the bad stuff happens in the world, right? I thought that if I just affirmed it, nothing bad was ever going to happen to me, that I had this invisible coat of armor. It was the magical thinking of affirmation rather than the practical work of the steps of recovery and the steps I've learned of manifestation. So I'm here to tell you that from that dark night 20 years ago to today has been an extraordinary journey that sometimes defies description. The people here from our retreat, right, they heard some of the stories of how I made this journey, and I'm going to share a few of them with you here too, because I ran into some of you and studied with you, worked with you at Silent Unity, and journeyed with you here at Unity Village Chapel. And I think this message, this Unity message of taking the steps necessary to create an abundant life, to create a truly prosperous and abundant life, is what we offer to the world, and we need to shout it from the rooftops. Because an abundant life, to me, is defined differently than other people will. When I first started studying the 4 T's and Prosperity Plus and all the prosperity teachings of Unity, the book Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth and Prosperity by Charles Fillmore, they were truly revelatory, and I loved them. And at the same time, I knew that when I was going to start teaching this, I wanted to teach it somewhat differently. So I use the word abundance, because abundance to me means more than just money. Abundance is about the whole life. It's about vibrant health. No, part of my story that I didn't share with our retreat people, but was a huge part of my story, is in 1988, I was diagnosed HIV positive. So the Unity teachings of health and transformation of our physical body is what brought me to Unity. It brought me to Eric Butterworth. And I stand here 35 years later, never once having been sick from HIV/AIDS. That is a testimony to what Unity teaches and what you have created and maintained here at this enormous and beautiful facility. Those teachings have literally saved my life. So abundance is about vibrant health, not just health, but vibrant health. And that doesn't mean that you have to be physically perfect. No one is. Reverend Joy Weiler, my good friend and colleague who passed last year, had a blog called Radical Wholeness, because she said, I'm 3'6". No amount of affirmation is going to make me 6 foot tall. Right? But that doesn't mean I'm not whole, right? Whatever you are going through in your life, whatever diagnosis you may have, doesn't limit your wholeness, doesn't limit the vibrant expression of your divine purpose and your divine life. So vibrant health is part of abundance. Fulfilling relationships. Relationships, community, is what keeps us sane. Right? The pandemic taught us that, because look what we're all facing in the isolation and the mental health crises and the rampant crime that has come out of the pandemic. Right? You cannot separate the two. I serve one of the other miracles, because I serve here at the Unity World Headquarters Board of Directors. Wasn't in my consciousness as even a possibility when I went through ministerial school here. But it has been a greatest gift of my life to serve here. But I've listened to the amount of things that have happened here on Village, why the Village is locked down now. because of the surge in crime and break-ins and security issues that have happened after the pandemic. When we pulled apart from each other for very sound reasons, it seemed, what we lost was that personal connection where we all sit in each other's aura, where we sit in the heart space of each other, feel the vibration and the beating of our heart, and feel the vibration of love that is our true nature. When we come together like this and on Zoom, and when we sit with family and friends and feel that connection, we develop fulfilling relationships even when they're difficult. Even when we have the really difficult conversations, it's an opportunity for our soul's growth and understanding. We learn to say, I'm sorry. I did that really wrong. Wasn't my best self at that moment. Please forgive me, because I love you. And those reparations we make for fulfilling relationships. They make us better because we realize that our behaviors doesn't define our true self. It doesn't define who we are. As Misa's going to sing here in a little bit too, you are not the mistakes you made. Do you get that? That is not your identity. Who here has not made a mistake? Oh, she was about to raise her hand. Because she thought I was going to ask the other question, right? So who here has made a mistake? Who here apologized for it? This is what we call testifying. When you put both hands, if you're like, I made a mistake, I apologize for it. I made amends. And so what amends means, rather than just saying I'm sorry, is you change your behavior. You learn from the mistake, and you change the behavior. And then people begin to trust you, and that's what I learned. People begin to trust me because even when I messed up, I changed the behavior and showed up differently the next time. That's what makes fulfilling relationships. Work you love. You might guess that I like what I do. Just a little bit, right? So that's something that comes out of living my true purpose. And you don't have to have a job that matches your purpose because you can do your purpose at any job. You can go to a job interview and do your purpose. If your purpose is to spread love and be love in the world, then you can go to a job interview and not get the job interview, but have done your job. You've done your job by being the presence of love on the planet here at every moment. Your job may be to teach abundance. Your job may be to bring peace. Your job may be to listen deeply. Doesn't matter whether you're a janitor or a teacher or a minister or a CEO of a corporation. Those are just what is one channel of your good. You can do your job if you're retired. You can do your job if you're underage. That's the power of work you love. The other one is financial freedom. Let's be really clear. We all need money to live in this world. We all need finances to make it in this world. If you don't have enough to eat, if you don't have a roof over your head, please see me after the service. Because having those things are essential if you want to even begin to talk about the higher level spiritual activities. You've got to have your belly full, and you've got to be warm and protected from the elements if we want to talk about manifesting an abundant life. But financial freedom, when we really understand what finances are a natural outflow of living our authentic self. The universe has multiple ways of rewarding each and every one of you for anything you do. And love given in the world is never, ever wasted. It is always rewarded. A little story about that. When my husband and I were in the open adoption market, we were looking to adopt a baby, and we were matched with a birth mother in Florida. And we paid her rent, and we paid for her bills, and we made sure her and her other kids, she had 4 other children, all had a house and a place to live. And 2 weeks before she gave birth to the baby she was going to place with us, she changed her mind. We found out later that she had also had another family paying those same bills, and that she had never intended to place the baby for adoption. And I felt scammed and wounded and hurt. But a good friend of mine, another minister, reminded me that good given in the world is never, ever lost. It will always come back to us. Always. Years later, we got a call from a woman, 2 years later, we got a call from a woman who said, "We've been following your story online, and we think you guys are amazing. We'd like to conceive and give you a child." And she did. Our baby came from a place that we could never imagine. But it came from the good we continue to do in the world constantly, even when the wounds can cause us sometimes to contract. I was in the hospital while this amazing couple gave us their child. Gave us a child. Beyond recognition. My friends here who were with me at the retreat met her. She's now 7 and is just a golden light. Finances are an energy exchange, as we decided and we talked about in my retreat, but they are also something that's essential for us to keep flowing, to keep giving, to keep in the flow of abundance of life. And having that freedom has been a game changer because I've taken the steps to make sure I stay in that flow. And it's scary some days. I'm not pretending it's easy. But, serving here also gave me another great gift. When I accepted the call to serve at the Unity World Headquarters Board of Directors, I had to learn how to read balance sheets that were in the millions, not in the thousands, right? And it opened my eyes to how to manage money and how to be a wise and grateful steward of that money. All this, what we're sitting in, this improvements, comes from that acknowledgement. And God's saying yes through Evelyn's phone right now. It's okay. Yes. Let the angel bells ring. Because we're sitting in this beautiful new sanctuary because people give. Because people give and we manage the money as best we can. That's financial freedom. It doesn't happen on the timetable that most of us want it to happen on. Has it ever? Right? Has it ever? But it happens. And then the last part of this is leisure time. This is the hard one for me because I keep putting more things in to do. But abundance is about leisure time. And I wanted to set the stage here for you for that because this is the important stuff. To understand that we must take care of ourselves by having enough time to replenish, to be in retreat, to be in rest, so that we can enjoy this abundant life. Working 24 hours a day doesn't mean you're prosperous. It just means you're tired. Right? So that's how I got here. But what I discovered in the journey and in the teachings of abundance is that there are steps along the way. And one of the steps is you have to name and claim your good. It does no good to sit here and go, okay, God, highest and best, highest and best, highest and best. The Fillmores, who founded this place, sat there and said, reveal to me what's highest and best. But they still bought the land. They still made plans. They made out blueprints. They hired people. They worked the farm. And they turned this into Unity Village by naming and claiming it. We're going to build this Unity farm. We're going to turn it into Unity Village. We're going to turn this into something magnificent, right? JD and I, my husband and I, decided to become parents. We made vision boards that had kids on them. We claimed that we are going to be proud parents. We now are the proud parents of 3 children. Not 1, not 2, but 3. All of whom still living at home, the 24-year-old, the 7-year-old, and the 4-year-old. But that is one of the blessings that we created, even in San Francisco, a house big enough to manifest all that, right? And to live in that abundance. First step is to name and claim your good. My amazing students all stood right here on this spot last night, some of them terrified to stand up in front of the whole room, and claimed their good for the next year. They named and claimed what they are going to manifest for the next year. Scary, wasn't it? Fun. Scary. What else? Empowering. Stepping, courage is not action without fear. Courage is action in the face of fear, right? You feel the fear and you do it anyway. So I'm going to make one today. By the time from 1 year from now, I'm going to have my book at the publisher ready to be done. I said it out loud and it's on tape. Right? But I ain't going to do it. It has been my heart's desire, my longing, mine to do. And I know that that's when I need to step up to name and claim. Because, you know why? Like I said, I love prosperity. I love spiritual economics. They're great books. But those were from the last century. We have more science, we have more understanding, we know how the brain works better now. And to manifest in this world today, we need to use all of that science, understanding, and all of our spirituality to apply those to make a better life for each and every one of us. So name and claim your good. Then you have to take concrete steps to it. I can say I'm going to write the book, but unless I sit down in front of my computer or in front of a pad and paper and actually put pen to paper, it is all just Reverend Ken's talking again. Right? He loves to talk, but can he do it? So I have to take the concrete steps. And as I taught our community this week, even if that's 1 paragraph a day, right? Because baby steps are not small for the baby. They are life-changing occurrences. Get that? When we all cheer the baby taking that first wobbly little step, the parent's life has changed forever, right? Right? When they stop crawling and they start walking, you start locking the cabinets, right? So take the baby step that's yours to do. Take the incremental step, whether that's buying the computer you need, creating a business card, creating a website, creating a Facebook page, but take the step, the baby step towards your dream, because guess what? The world's waiting for you to do it. If it's a divine idea, it's your gift to give the world. If it's an idea planted in your soul, it's not anyone else's to do, it's yours to do. Years ago, before they ever hit the market, I had this idea that it would be a great idea to have pre-lit artificial Christmas trees. Never did anything with it. It's like that abundance train went, right? So whatever that divine idea is of yours, take a baby step towards having it manifest for you. And then the next step is to share your journey. You have to share your journey with like-minded souls along the way, because you never know where your good's going to come from. People can come to you with their own inspiration on your idea, their own resources, and you can take off. When you inspire people with an idea, they will rally, you'll be magnetic, and they will come to your aid, and all of a sudden, without even knowing how, your good is going to manifest in the world. And the last step is to be open to how it will show up. Like I said, we were in the open adoption market for a while. And while we were waiting for that lovely couple to actually conceive and have a child for us, we went to the foster care system and adopted a 16-year-old boy. Not what we had planned, not what I thought our family would look like. But when your good shows up different than you had dreamed, it's usually an indication that it's from spirit and not your ego, right? Because we think we're supposed to know what our good is going to look like, you know. I want him or her to look like this. I want them to be beautiful and kind, da, da, da. And those people may show up, but they may already be in your life. The good you're looking for already exists. You're not manufacturing, you're not manifesting something like magical out of thin air. The good you're looking for already exists, is already in the planet. That couple that we didn't know were following us on our Facebook page. They were following us and gave us a child, and we had no idea they existed, but they were already there. They were already part of my world. My husband was a friend of mine. We met when I got sober 20 years ago, started attending this 12-step meeting. 3 months in, he started attending this 12-step meeting. We became friends. Never thought of him as a mate until 3 years in, when I was awake enough, when the cloud had lifted enough and I had taken enough steps of recovery and amends and enough presence to be fully there. The veil was lifted from my eyes, and the man of my dreams had been there all along. The good you're looking for, the partner, the business partner, the spouse, the business opportunity, the job, the love, the hope that you're looking for in your life is already here, folks. It is already here. What you're doing is opening yourself, changing your own mind, and taking the steps necessary to see it differently. When we shift perspective in the room, everything changes. I noticed it this week because I've been standing right here doing these lectures all weekend. And then when I invited everyone to come up and name and claim their dream from this spot, inevitably some of them said, wow, it looks so different from this way. Right? And you see things you don't see from that sit. So if you come in here, I know you've only been here for a month, but if you come in and you sit in the same seat every time, I challenge you and you encourage you to pick a different one next week. Right? Because sitting just in a different spot will change your perspective on what this looks like. I invite you, rather than going out that way, to come here and to stand in the point of power of this room and affirm what is yours to do, to name and claim your good. Because once you do, the universe has no choice but to conspire with you to make it manifest. Right? And then the last thing, these are the steps, but what you have to do is release our old way of behavior. Like I said at the beginning, I had to change everything. I had to change everything. But changing everything changed everything. Right? And doing that has led me to an abundant life beyond what I can describe. From that apartment in New York and not enough money to pay the bills, I live in a 4-bedroom house on an acre of land just north of San Francisco with views of mountains and deer who wander through my property. I know that's not unusual here. But in San Francisco, trust me, it is. Deer and wild turkey. And I couldn't have imagined any of it, much less speaking here as a minister. I know that that is available to each and every one of you, that you will have a life beyond recognition, a life, and you've already done it. But if you're sitting here and you're still on this planet, there's more to do. Right, Evelyn? Right? Evelyn here turned 82 yesterday. 82 years young, and she's ready for the next chapter. And another friend of mine, well, I won't tell her age because I didn't get permission, but she stood right here and affirmed in this next chapter of her life that she has a new partner and a new mate and a new purpose for the next chapter, right? That's what the call to an abundant life is. So let's take this to our time of meditation. Let's see what the longing of our heart is and transform ourselves by we transform our lives. Right? The band's coming back and Misa's going to come up. I invite you to get comfortable in your chair. This is an odd thing to say, but let the chair hold you. Sometimes we hold ourselves up rather than let the chair hold us. Feel your back against the chair. Feel your feet firmly on the floor. This very solid and secure space. And let this music, this vibration, pour through every cell and atom of your body. Let my voice and Misa's voice be your voice as you settle in to this peace that passes all understanding.
I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. Light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I've left behind. I am light. Light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race, my soul inside. All light. I am 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 light. Oh, light.
We breathe into that knowing that the light within us is longing to be seen, longing to be known, aching to be expressed. So whatever that light is for you, I invite you to see it within you right now as you breathe into your heart space. Breathe in to that light and watch the oxygen and the substance of the divine that you breathe in fuel that flame, that light. And feel within you right now as it fills every cell and atom of your whole body. From the top of your head, through your face, through your shoulders and arms, into your hands. From your chest into your stomach and internal organs, and your hips, legs, knees, and feet is all vibrant light. That is the truth of who you are. And right here and right now, every cell and atom of your physical body now radiates as that light, filling every corner of this room, touching every soul that sits here with us, and transforming life after life, moment after moment, space after space. We now notice as this light cannot be contained by this room and pours out all over Unity Village, illuminating the whole city of Unity and illuminating the county of Jackson and the state of Missouri and Kansas. Knowing that our light cannot be suppressed or contained, we know that the light we are connects with all the lights around the globe. Night and day are now illuminated by the one light that we all share. Connecting with each other, connecting with all souls on this planet. We now sit in the silence. We reconnect with that light at any moment. For that light is really the truth of our identity, the divinity within us and everywhere around us is that light. We are magnificent expressions of the divine here in this time and place, to let our light be the healing energy of the world. We are a cosmic gift to this moment in time, so that the world may be healed by us and by our courageous presence, by our loving and transformative words, touch, and actions. We are healing light. We are loving light. We are powerful light. We are wise. We are peaceful light. We are all that is needed. Right here and right now, know with us that I am divine. You are divine. And we move and have our being in this knowledge.
I am divinity defined. I am God on the inside. I am a star shining peace over I am light, I am light. Sing with me. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light, I am light. You are light. You are light, 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 we are light, we are light, we are light, we are light. We are light, oh light.
And so it is. Namaste.